guys, so today I'm doing another one of my creepy mystery videos. This is one that I have not seen anything about on YouTube. I think it's really interesting, I think it's really weird. It's not an unsolved mystery, it is just a creepy real life story, but I think it's really interesting and I hope you guys enjoy it. So this is the case of a woman called Dorothy Eady. She was born in the UK on the 16th of January 1904 and she had a pretty normal childhood up until the point where at the age of 3 she fell down a set of stairs and fell unconscious, and she was later pronounced dead through brain injury. So an hour after the doctor pronounced her dead, she was actually found playing in her bedroom, showing no sign of injury, completely fine. This little girl had been dead. She had had brain injury that had killed her after falling down the stairs, and an hour later she was found playing as if nothing had happened. For the next few years she seemed perfectly fine. She didn't recall having this injury, and she lived a fairly normal life. So the only thing that sort of was strange about her after this incident was that she began to have recurring dreams where she would be in a garden filled with fruit trees, with buildings with huge columns, and her mother would find her alone, weeping, crying, very distraught. When her parents asked her what was wrong, she would reply that she wanted to go home, and she would refuse to accept the fact that she was at home with her family. She would just keep saying that she wanted to go home. So a few years later she started developing an obsession with ancient Egypt. So when she was slightly older but still a young child, her parents took her to the British Museum. She was running around excitedly declaring that these were her people. She began kissing the feet of statues of ancient Egyptian rulers, and she was very ecstatic to be in this room filled with ancient Egyptian things. So when she was 6 years old, she learnt to read and write in English. She began to tell her family and friends that ancient Egyptian hieroglyphics were familiar to her, but she couldn't read them because she'd forgotten how to. But she was very obsessed with hieroglyphics and wanting to learn how to read them again. So when she was 7 years old, she would demand that her parents read her the ancient Egyptian chapter in her encyclopedia. When she saw photographs of the Temple of Seti I, she announced that this was her former home and that this was the place she was dreaming of in her recurred dreams that she was having, and that this was her past home, and this was where she was wanting to get to. She was then shown a picture of the late pharaoh Seti I, and when she saw this picture she told her parents that she had known him personally and that he had been with her in her past life when she lived at this temple in ancient Egypt. So when she was 10 years old, a well-known and well-renowned Egyptologist, E.A. Wallace Budge, who worked at the British Museum, offered to teach her hieroglyphics and to help her learn more about ancient Egypt and these things that she was supposedly remembering from her past life. One of the scarier visions that she had happened when she was 14 years old, and she had a nighttime vision of Seti I, who she said had the expression of somebody in hell who had suddenly found a way out. And this began to concern her parents and those around her, because her visions were beginning to get a little bit more scary and uncontrollable. She also began to have recurring dreams of being in a room making and laying rush mats with other ancient Egyptian women, and also being checked on by a man with a lantern who would ensure that they were working well and in the correct places that they should be. And she also had a recurring dream that she was being interrogated by a high priest, and if she did not give the answers that he wanted, he would beat her, and these were beginning to have quite a negative impact on her, and they were quite frightening for her and her family. So at the age of 27 she began writing and illustrating articles for an Egyptian magazine, and she married an Egyptian man and became a citizen and long-time resident in Egypt. So after moving to Egypt, she was continually visited by the spirit of Seti I, and she was also given visions and told information by a spirit called Ra, who would tell her the details of her past life, and she would get up during the night and write these details in hieroglyphics in a notebook, which she then showed to her husband. and this was kind of how she was continuing to learn about her past life in ancient Egypt while she was living in Egypt and working for this magazine. So supposedly, after she moved to Egypt, her and her family continued to be visited by this spirit of Seti I. So there are a lot of theories about where these, supposed notions of a past life began, and why Eady believes that she was born in ancient Egypt in a past life. So a reincarnation researcher named James Matlock put forward a theory that this is part of a replacement reincarnation theory, which basically means that Eady died obviously when she was 3 years old. She was pronounced dead. She was officially clinically dead, but when the individual wakes up and is suddenly alive again, their memories are confused and they kind of create the memories in their head, and this could have been what happened to Eady to spark the idea that she was from ancient Egypt originally. Obviously there are theories that Eady was in fact remembering a past life that in fact did happen to her. A lot of people do believe that this is the case and that reincarnation and past lives are indeed correct and this is what happened to her. So there are a lot of theories about whether or not this is true. I just think it's a really interesting case that this woman has apparently so many different memories from a past life in ancient Egypt. Eady is actually now a respected Egyptologist under the name of Seti. There are a lot of articles about her online, so I'll try and link a few down below if you'd like to read more about that. And there was also a biography written about her, which I will link in the description box also. It's a really interesting case. It's very unique and strange, and I've never heard anything like it, and I think it's such a odd thing to happen. It's very odd, but I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll leave a link to my playlist with all of my creepy mystery videos in it, and yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this. Thank you so much for watching, and you'll see me in the next one. Bye guys.